Good morning. This is Crystal Woods with Seasons in the Vine, and it's Fresh Friday. And today I want to talk to you about how to get past people's criticism. I tell you, coming up against a critical spirit can really wear you down. I'm sure you guys agree. When you're trying to do something that maybe is hard, maybe it's easy, but just having that constant interference of, well, it wasn't as good as it could be, or it could have been like this, or you missed this, or you missed that. If anybody grew up in a home that was really critical, I could be triggering some things in you right now where you did your best, you put your best foot forward, and still it wasn't good enough. And if we stay in a place like that, we're really going to have a hard time chasing after God, because we are going to hear the voice of the critic louder than his maybe, and we have to learn to overcome. So I want this Fresh Friday to just be uplifting to you and to hopefully root you more in God's voice and not the critical spirit that is so prevalent. And then if you are a critical person, this might be convicting to you, and you might decide you don't want to be that critical person, and that you do want to actually be encouraging and supportive of people that are out there doing hard things. So this message, came from life experience, of course, but actually I saw this quote the other day on somebody's story, and it says, being a critic is easy. And I was like, yes, it is easy. I actually wrote on my note to you today, it takes zero ability to be critical. It takes zero. You don't have to be creative or anything, because there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that you could focus on. If you want to focus on something negative, there'll always be something negative to focus on. You won't have to look hard for that. And there's zero ability to be critical. It actually takes a lot of self-control and filtering to not be critical. If you want to be that person, it'll be really easy for you. So being a critic is easy. Being critical is easy. It takes zero ability for that. So if you find yourself being a critical person, stop. And I have fallen into that myself. People around you just will begin to feel like they just can't do anything right. And that's the worst feeling in the world, or they just can't quite get it the way that you thought it should be. Expectations are really big into this. And so watch being critical, watch looking at an entire thing and then looking for something that's going to pop somebody's bubble, like looking for the one thing that still isn't right, even though there are so many things that are right. And I have to navigate this all the time in various forms, like from my kids, or being married, from my spouse, or being a pastor. You're never going to make everybody happy. You are going to miss things, and things are going to fall through the crack. And does it mean that you retreat and run away? Well, you might want to. There's many times I just want to quit certain things that I'm doing, just because I'm like, why am I putting myself through this? I can live a wonderfully happy life without without doing these hard things, right? And really, a critical spirit ignores all the good for the 1% bad, or the 2% that isn't what they want. Ultimately, a critical spirit is really, being a critical person is definitely being a person that's like Satan. Just going to say it. Accuser of the brethren. I mean, who else is going to sit there and pick something apart other than Satan himself? And so that's why, if we do have criticism in ourselves, we need to flush that out. One time years ago, the Lord said to me about a particular person that I was in relationship with that had done a lot of wrong and definitely could be criticized. And the Lord was like, is what you're about to say something I would say, or something Satan would say? And I was like, okay, Jesus, I see you. Yes, you're right. If this isn't something that you would be saying, it's not something I should be saying. And so we really have to learn to filter. And we really have to learn to be prophetic, encouraging people. That doesn't mean we don't see what's wrong or what still needs addressed, but it means we're going to encourage and support and fan the flame of someone else, because God will address that. And what people need more than criticism is often, keep going, you can do this. This must be be so hard, but I see all the effort and I know it's going to work out. And so that's really what people need. And I pray and wish that all of us would be those people. Okay, let's get back to the original message. Being a critic is easy, zero effort. Building something is freaking hard. That's literally in the quote. And I was like, yes, it is. Building something is hard. And it doesn't have to be like literally building like a tangible thing. It might be, meal planning, running your household, keeping up with your chores, eating healthy, exercising, like building your body, building your soul up, doing inner healing work, building your mind up, learning how to take things captive. Building something is freaking hard. And maybe like in different situations that I've been in, ministry, like building ministry, participating in moves of God, building something that is in ruins and building it back up is really, really hard. So being a critic is easy. Building something is super hard. People that have built something great are slow to judge. And so what you have to realize when somebody is super critical, if you look at their life, you'll probably realize they've never built anything great. They've been so busy criticizing other people, they've never actually done a great thing. And that's kind of probably their own dissatisfaction with what their life has been that's fueling even more of the critique. And the criticism of somebody else that's actually doing the hard thing. It's really easy to attack people that are actually doing things you would never yourself risk to do. So I'm encouraging, because some of you out there you got people in your life that are constantly criticizing and critiquing, and it's just kicking you in the face and kicking you down. And I want you to look at their life. And I want you to see, like, have they actually ever built anything great? Building something is freaking hard. People that have built something great are slow to judge. And this is really what happens. And I noticed in my life, the more I did hard things, the more I had grace for people that were doing hard things. The more I was like, wow, they need support. Let's fan the flame, because what they are up against, man, I know what that feels like. And they don't need me saying this, and this is wrong. They need me supporting and encouraging them, because they're going to quit. I mean, often criticism, unchecked criticism leads to people quitting, leads to people being burnt out. I just can't do this anymore. The quote goes on to say, criticism costs nothing. Building will cost your life. And so once again, like, somebody who's never really done anything can often be super critical because they're coming from their own inadequacies and wanting you to feel inadequate as well. We reject that, by the way. Guess what? You have to go to God for affirmation, and you have to go to God for acceptance, because that's really where it needs to come from. Because with people, you might have it today, you might not have it tomorrow. At the end of the day, you have to lay your head on your pillow knowing, like, did I serve God today? Did I serve people the way I felt He was leading me to, and not necessarily the way that they wanted to be? It's got to come back to Him. But criticism costs nothing. You can criticize people, tear them down, point out the negatives, show them what they still didn't get right, and it's not costing a thing. But building, somebody who's actually building something, it's going to cost them their life. They're going to have to overcome criticism, people pleasing. They're going to have to overcome their own insecurities, inadequacies, their fear of failure, their desire to play it safe and not risk. So building will cost you. I would propose to you it's well worth it. So get to building. Do not let people take you down off that wall. Do not fall into critique yourself. Do not receive necessarily things from that critical, negative-minded person. If there is something that is being said and God is in agreement that you're missing something, that's okay. Go to God with it, though. He's not an accuser. He is a convictor, and He will convict you and also then empower you to do it differently. The enemy will just tell you what you did wrong and let you sit in it. God will say, hey, we need to do this differently, and I'm going to do it through you. I'm going to actually do it. Just let me have my way. totally different experiences. So the ability to be critical is so easy, and it requires nothing. So there's zero ability in being critical, but it takes a whole lot of ability to actually build something. And so let's be builders. Let's be builders up of people. The Bible talks so much about prophecy and the building up and the edification. Let's be people that encourage others and see the good, not just the bad. See the good and fan that in and believe that in. And also, even if we do have to give a word about something that is off, do it from the perspective of God, not the enemy. Okay, that's what I have today. So get to building, and don't let anybody that's under a critical spirit keep you from doing what you know is right and what God has called you to. See you next week, Lord willing.